Good morning. Welcome back. Nearly 8,000 pounds of fentanyl seized at the border so far this year. But the drug cartels are getting plenty of the deadly drug into the country as migrants overwhelm our outstretched border agents. Joining me now, Director of Policy Studies, Center for Immigration Studies, Jessica Vaughan. Jessica, those numbers are alarming.
They are alarming. There is a direct link between this disaster at the border and the fentanyl problem that is plaguing so many communities in the interior of the United States. It's a tragedy, really, but is one that could be helped in part by getting back control of our border.
And I know that you say that it's organized this way, that when you have these drugs that are being slipped in by the cartels, that, they're doing this at a time when, at least you can explain why they're doing this at a time where they know that border agents are completely occupied right now.
That's right. This is one thing that hasn't been talked about a lot. It's bad enough that we have this flood of unaccompanied minors and families coming through, but the way this works is that the smugglers that control the influx of people and illicit goods deliberately use the groups of families and kids. They send them across dozens at a time because they know that they suck up the resources of the Border Patrol agents who have to take care of the families and kids. And then that opens up another spot along the line where they can send through not only drugs, but also the people who don't want to be caught, so-called gotaways, which it should be also of great concern because these are people who are often either people who've been removed from the country before, are criminals, prior deportees, gang members, all kinds of people who don't want to be caught by the Border Patrol or who are carrying loads of high-value drugs, and those loads are hugely valuable to the smugglers, but also the ones that law enforcement agencies ought to be most concerned about that are getting away and that we don't have a great handle on how much of this is flowing into our communities,
well, if you take
people and drugs.
A look at some of these numbers, the synthetic opioid deaths in 2020, more than 53,000. You can see nearing 54,000. So for people at home who might not yet realize that what's going on at the border doesn't just affect the border communities. This affects the entire country, right?
That's right. And a lot of the people who are doing the trafficking within our communities also are here illegally, are able to slip under the radar of local law enforcement agencies, often because they have stolen or bought the identity of a U.S. citizen or find other ways to embed themselves in the community and ply these deadly drugs that are such a scourge.
Jessica, real quick before we let you go, about a minute here on this topic, but the White House is eyeing ending Title 42 expulsion policy as early as July 31st. Can you tell us what this policy did and what it will look like if that is to be ended?
Well, under Title 42, that enabled the Department of Homeland Security to just expel a lot of the illegal crossers, mostly applied to single adults. It was applied to others under the Trump administration. Biden lifted the Title 42 restrictions for some kids and families, but when these pandemic restrictions are lifted, then the Border Patrol cannot just quickly return anybody who tries to get over illegally. They're going to have to process them, and under Biden policies, that means a lot of these people are going to be released. A lot more people, perhaps double the number of people, are going to be released once they make it onto U.S. soil illegally. And I can tell you that people right now hearing this news that those restrictions are being lifted, they're packing their bags to come here because this is going to really incentivize even more people to come here and get across illegally because they know they're going to be allowed to stay and they're not going to face interior enforcement from ICE in countries. I mean, our entire nation essentially becomes a sanctuary for people here illegally and for those arriving newly who are asking for asylum.
And then if this ends, the question is, does the administration come up with some other deterrent? So far, they haven't really given us reason to believe that they will. So we'll stand by and see. Jessica Vaughan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.